Let's be real. We live in a world that is constantly fighting for a piece of our attention. So how do you actually win that fight? Today, we are diving into Chris Bailey's Hyperfocus to build a brand new, super simple operating system for your brain. One that's going to help you get your focus back and, maybe more importantly, do your best, most creative work. Let's get right into it. Does this sound familiar at all? Your entire day is just packed. You're jumping from task to task, you're answering emails, checking notifications. But when you get to the end of the day, you kind of have that sinking feeling that you didn't make any real progress on the things that actually matter. Well, that state of constant reactive busyness, that's what the book calls autopilot mode. It's where most of us live by default, and honestly, it's where our most important work goes to die. So why are we stuck on autopilot all the time? Well, it all comes down to this one number, 40. You see, every single second, our senses are just bombarded with about 11 million bits of information. But our conscious brain, it can only handle about 40 of them. Not 40,000, not even 4,000, just 40. That tiny, tiny bottleneck is your attentional space. It is the most valuable and, the most limited resource you have. So productivity isn't about working harder. It's about being ruthless with what you let into those 40 slots. And that brings us right to the core thesis of the whole book. Real productivity, it's not about being on and focused 24/7. It's about being intentional. It's all about learning how to deliberately switch back and forth between two very different but equally powerful modes of your attention. And these are the two modes right here. On one side, you've got hyperfocus. Think of it like a laser beam. This is for execution, writing the report, coding the app, just getting things done. But on the other side, you have scatterfocus. This is your creative engine. This is for purposeful mind wandering, where your brain starts connecting ideas and solving problems in the background. They seem like total opposites, right? But the secret is that you absolutely need both to be truly effective. All right, so let's break down that first mode, hyperfocus. This is the one we all think about when we hear the word productivity. It's that feeling, that flow state, where you're so absorbed in what you're doing that the rest of the world just kind of melts away. This is where your most important work gets done. And getting into hyperfocus is, believe it or not, surprisingly simple. It's really just 4 steps. First, you pick one and only one important thing to work on. Second, you kill all the distractions. Close the tabs, put the phone on silent, you know the drill. Third, you point your entire attentional space at that one single thing. And fourth, and this is the real workout, every single time your mind wanders, and it will, you just gently guide it back. Each time you do that, it's like a bicep curl for your focus muscle. You're getting stronger. Okay, but here's the part that's kind of counterintuitive, and is the genius of the system, the second mode, scatter focus. We have been taught our whole lives that mind wandering is lazy, right? That it's a distraction. But this book argues that intentional mind wandering is one of the most productive things your brain can do. It's not a bug, it's a feature. This quote from David Allen really nails the whole point of scatter focus. When your brain is totally cluttered, just holding all your to-do lists and worries and unfinished tasks, there's literally no room for new ideas to pop in. Scatter focus is all about intentionally clearing out that mental clutter so your brain can finally breathe and do what it does best, connect the dots and solve problems. Now, the key word here is deliberate. This is crucial. Scatter focus is not just zoning out and scrolling through your phone. It's intentionally stepping away from the keyboard, maybe going for a walk, taking a shower, and just letting your mind roam free. This is where those aha moments come from, because you're finally giving your brain the space it needs to make those unexpected connections. And here are 3 really practical ways to actually do it. First, there's capture mode. You just let your mind wander, but you keep a notepad handy to, capture any ideas that surface. Then there's problem crunching mode. This is where you kind of load a tricky problem into your mind and then you go do something simple like washing the dishes. And finally, there's habitual mode, which is just using those autopilot habits like your morning walk or your commute to let your brain work on stuff in the background. But here's the thing. For scatter focus to actually work, it needs fuel. It needs raw material. And this is the part that I think most people miss. Creativity isn't some kind of magic that comes from nowhere. It's fueled by what the book calls dots, all the little bits of information and experience you've collected. Just think about it this way. Every new idea you've ever had is really just a new combination of old ideas you already knew. So this means that the quality of your creative output depends completely on the quality and the variety of the dots you've stored in your brain over time. So the bottom line is this. If you want to have better outputs, you have to get serious about having better inputs. You've got to become a collector of dots. And this isn't just about reading more books in your field. It's about reading widely. Dive into subjects you know nothing about. Listen to podcasts from totally different industries. Watch documentaries. The more diverse and high quality your inputs are, the more powerful that creative engine is going to be when you finally shift into scatter focus. Okay, so let's put this all together. Let's install your new operating system. You've got Hyperfocus for getting things done, and you've got scatter focus for coming up with new ideas. This isn't just another set of productivity hacks. This is a totally new way to manage your single most valuable resource, your attention. The master skill that makes this whole system click is intentionality. It is the simple, conscious decision to get off that autopilot treadmill. Instead of just letting notifications and distractions decide where your precious 40 bits of attention go, you get to decide. Am I going to use the laser beam of hyperfocus right now to finish this project? Or is it time to switch to the creative lens of scatter focus to figure out what's next? The real power is in choosing your mode on purpose. And look, if you only take one single thing away from all of this, let it be this mental model. Think of your attention not as one thing, but as a tool with two settings, a focus laser and a wide-angle creative lens. The secret to being truly productive and deeply creative is just knowing which one to use and when. So the only question left is, which mode do you need to enter right now?